Well, Mark Hart is the co-author of Our Not Quite Holy Family, a practical guide for Catholic parents. I could live that. He joins us via Skype from Phoenix to talk about how easy it is to be a parent, or maybe it's not so easy. Mark, thanks for being with us. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Hey, now, so you're the parent of 4 kids. You got me by 1. I've got 3, ranging from college age to elementary school. So you understand how difficult it is to juggle different personalities, relationships, activities, and try to remain holy. What's been the biggest challenge about all of that?
Well, you can see my gray hair. That's the first challenge. No, honestly, I think parenting is always going to be difficult, no matter what era you live in. But obviously in the 21st century, even pre-COVID, it has its own challenges. I mean, we're living in a screen-obsessed culture, and even if you can protect your own kids from constantly having screens glued to their hands, how can you protect them from everybody else in the world? I mean, really, parents think they're handing their kids a phone. They're actually handing their kids a computer that also makes phone calls. So trying to raise your kids in a holy way, raise their kids in a culture where Gen Z, or iGen as they call it, is so anti-institutional, so suspicious of things like the church, so suspicious of things, any sort of authority to begin with, is already a challenge. And then to try to navigate those streams when not all the other families, maybe, in the community are thinking the same way you are and believing the same things you believe, it definitely presents challenges. And then, as you said, on top of that, and you know this, you've got kids, on top of that, when you're trying to parent kids in different stages, whether that's college or high school, junior high, all those things, I was under the impression, I was foolish, that if I had one philosophy as a parent, I'll get in there and I'll apply that philosophy to every kid. And then who knew that God would send you kids with different personalities and different likes and dislikes? It's the craziest thing ever.
What's the temperature in Phoenix now?
Don't ask that.
Kill me. Come
Your
on.
Excellency, you don't want to know. It's gonna be 78 today. It's a glorious day.
Oh, that's
it's
great.
Beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, but honestly, there are 2 clouds. So I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm not a parent, obviously, but I've witnessed parents struggling to gather children to pray, and also, well, you're the Bible geek, to read the Bible, to become more accustomed to learning God's Word. How is it in this book that you encourage kids to pray and parents to help them to pray without coercing them?
And not to say that bribery doesn't work, but I do believe that it really begins with helping our kids to understand that Jesus is actually a person, that the church is a living body of living stones. It's not just a parish, it's not just a building, it's not just an institution, but living stones. But we really believe that there are 3 altars in every home, that the dinner table is really an altar. It's a place of sacrifice. And I think the first thing that goes with most families is eating together. We're running around crazy all the time, activities, sports, all that kind of thing. But to really make eating together a very important part of our family rhythm and our rhythm of prayer. The coffee table is also an altar in every home where we can actually sit and have conversation without screens, but we can sit and have conversations, play games, invite people in. And then really for every couple, I mean, the marriage bed is an altar. I mean, for couples to remember that the husband and wife, they have to keep that relationship strong. And I think that if couples and if families re-envision their homes as a domestic church, that they really would re-envision their lives. I mean, they would see the rhythm that God really ordained from the very beginning around the Sabbath to ordain their entire week.
Something that resonated with me that you just said before that, Mark, was about different personalities, because my kids are totally different. I have one who's very quiet and could stay in the basement for the rest of his life. My daughter, who's graduating from college this year, loves to go out. And then my son, I think, is the mayor of the town, my youngest, who's a freshman in high school. But one of the issues that we have run into as parents is college, because it's the first time that the kids are away, and it's not an issue per se, but they have to take what you teach them and bring it forward. How do you keep that connection with the kids who are in college?
Honestly, I think that the key really, and this is going to sound bad, it's going to sound counterintuitive, is for parents to learn how to, quote unquote, waste time with their kids. If parents are only coming in during those formative years, middle school, high school, and saying, your room is dirty, your grades aren't good, I don't like that friend. if you're coming to Mass, like, if that's all they're doing, then really you're not parenting. I mean, you're just becoming the program director. If you can learn how to fall into the couch next to your child, hey, what are you watching? Hey, what are you listening to? Hey, what are you looking at? Showing that interest in their life on the non-churchy things, on the non-Catholic things, and show an interest in what they're interested in. You earn the right to be heard. And if you don't earn the right to be heard, if you don't respect your kids, they're not going to respect you. Ultimately, and I'm not saying that you have to be their friends, because those parents that try to be friends with their kids in high school are no longer friends in college and after. You still have to have the lines, the authority, the discipline. But I think that we live in an age now, it used to be, you'll respect me because I'm a parent. That's gone now. Like in the age we live in, you have to earn the right to be heard with your kids, because that's what their friends are going through. And I think if you can earn that right to be heard in the most formative years, it carries into those college years and beyond.
We're running out of time, Mark, but just if you could give one incentive to people, because we want people to pick up this book, why should they read this book to help them to become a better 21st century parent?
Regardless if you're a new parent, if you've been a parent for several years, here's the reality. If you have children, God entrusted those gifts to you. That's a responsibility. And your foremost responsibility is to lead those young souls that God has entrusted to you to heaven. And every one of us, no matter how good or bad we are, can improve as parents. So this book is not about all of our successes. It's actually about a lot of our failures and trying to help other parents, fellow Catholic parents, traverse the minefield of parenthood en route to salvation for all of us.
Well, Our Not Quite Holy Family is the name of the book. Mark, thank you so much for being with us. Where can people get a copy?
You can pick it up at Ave Maria Press on Amazon.com or wherever fine Catholic books are sold, Jay.
And you know how by the way, you know how we say your name here in Boston?
Mark Hart.
Mark Hart, yeah.
And where can people learn more about your work, Mark?
You can head to lifeteen.com or BibleGeek.com. I spend time in both places. I bilocate.
Mark, it's been a pleasure. My best to your wife, and thank you for being with us today.
Appreciate the time, John.
Have a great day.
God bless.